Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to record a quick episode. I was busy working. I have this work project to get done. But I thought, it's late at night and it's a good moment to consider brighter days. To wonder about the efforts of our ancestors and our descendants. To wonder about the human race and not its race against itself, against one another, against the world or time, but that mankind is here for a task that may call into consideration the presence of a divine surveillance state and in divine administration of an existential system. This stuff can't be ignored. There is something that loneliness, and I shouldn't say loneliness, just I guess loneliness and solitude train you for. A human being can see things that are better than them. Yet it doesn't mean they can be that. You see, it's a condition. It's a scenario. When it's a physical scenario, it's way more tangible. Like, see, it's the levels of perception. So, if somebody was like Mr. Within, we might have aliens land in the future, and how do we train our species to, in some sense, be able to communicate, contact with higher beings? I would say our species has certain advantages. First of all, I consider this world to have rankings, and the highest rank is the system admin, God. the angels, the prophets, and then simple people. So I am a member, okay? The angels are moderators. The prophets were advanced humans. Now, if we want to prepare our species for advanced communication, I'm pretty much saying, all right, human species. So it's like me and a bunch of generals trying to discuss, like, how do we train 8 billion, soldiers, let's say. And it would be this notion of being like, okay, let's look at it this way, that what are the things that a human being can communicate with on Earth? I think this is a fascinating question. I'm kind of surprised I haven't talked about this before. So where I'm going with this is simply this. That what can a human being communicate to and with on Earth? And if we were to prepare the human species for advanced communication, what would the most advanced communication be? And what would this constant thing that I've been saying throughout the years, this revolution in the advanced communication of our position as an organism, as a soul, it's like, in some sense, when would that advancement come about? I've wondered about this truly because it fascinates me, Like, why are human beings surviving physically? So they can psychologically survive. And why are they psychologically surviving? Because in reality, those who reach the top don't know what to do. That's the brilliance of this system we're in. There's positions. I'm a member. In the vision I see so far, how far I see of this reality, so pretty much, like, what are the things that a human being can communicate to? I would say the first thing to communicate to, one of the most important, is, so first we're a communicator. And so what are the communication, what do we call it? Communication points. So a communication point is yourself. Okay? Yourself. Another communication point is others. Another communication point is the world. Now, because there is people who are interested in spirituality, and I'm not interested in spirituality more, I'm more interested in the divine performance in the presence of the system admin. It's like spirituality is for those, being moderated. So the communication points are self, others, and the world. Now, when it comes to the spiritual folk, it could be like an invisible self, a visible self, visible others, a visible world, invisible world. So we see this in the history of human culture, human beings who've communicated to this. But to me, the thing about this is that our position is worldly, and the system admin is unworldly. So I'm pretty much being in this world and looking at everybody being spiritual, and I'm like, wait a minute, Everybody's spirituality is in the world. What is this? Everybody is claiming spirituality, but contextually, it's like they're claiming spirituality in a room filled with shapes. So a spirituality that is shaped is unique, is strange. Now, there is also this consideration that we as a species, compared to all other life forms visible on Earth, have a capacity to understand, communicate, and interact uh, with the world, and to notice the creator. Now, I'm not saying that, like, animals don't have souls, but it is suggested that they're kind of like NPCs in a video game. So at the end of the day, not the end of the day, at the end of the day of days, at the end of a judgment day, it's as if it suggested that animals turn into dust, right? So it's as if, like, if you saw it as a video game, once the video game ends and everything returns to the system admin, which was never inside the console, right? Then what happens? It's like the NPCs were never there. So you have a soul. So I'm speaking to souls right now. Now, as a soul, you are governing demand levels to yourself. So there's a level of your body. We cannot ignore this. I have a body as well, right? I'm not telling you by being a soul, I don't have a body. I have a body. But this body is a level of this life's game, right? Of this divine game. And so the body's task is survival, but it's also to do the work and to play its part and do its role. Right? So, like, you can say amateur spirituality is like, yo, man, I want to go to another dimension. Mature spirituality is like, yo, man, I'm done playing with moderators, right? And the members, and let's just focus on my direct relationship with the system admin. That means it's like you're in an exam hall, and instead of sitting at the desk and writing the exam, which is being a human is, like just playing out your human life and role, right? Instead, the person's like jumping up and down and dancing, and it's like, I don't think the purpose of life is an exam. I think the purpose of life is happiness. And the teacher's like, this kid's gonna fail the exam, you know. He's dancing in the moment where he should be giving answers to what's in front of him. So these communication points, my suggestion, even in my own previously in 2000 until 2023, the metaphysical talks I would give, those metaphysical talks, I would still advise people never get attached to a personality, because it's weird. Right? Because what 8 billion souls on this world are not realizing is that the purpose of the level of the body is survival. The purpose of the level of the mind is service. Okay? But it doesn't know how to serve because there's infinite viewpoints. So once you see the limitations of your body and mind, once you see the uncontrollable and unknown variables that surround every moment that's happening that you go through, you come to this notion that, like, okay, I can accept that there's like a ecosystem. I can accept that there is a divino system, a divino system, a divinity system. This divinity system means that the world has more than a value that I can fathom. It has unimaginable value. That's the brilliance of what we're attending right now. So when I think about the better days of humanity, as a night owl, I'll tell you this. I personally become happy when others become happy. But I become happy when others' happiness is ignorance to an upcoming unhappiness. I have one feeling, and if in some sense at the end of, like, after this life, God's like, why did you behave the way you did? I would say, God, this was the multiple choice I saw. That if our species didn't, could be great and wasn't, it was as if it was the big regret. It was regrettable. You see, think of it this way. Somebody's like, yo, man, it's like, how do I build an advanced civilization? Imagine there was some guy named Mr.Within. It's like, yeah, man, I'll tell you. First, the idea is you got to understand what an advanced civilization is, and then what an advanced civilization needs to happen. Where obviously, civilization is the definition of the activities of an advanced species on a planet. An advanced species not compared to what's beyond the clouds, but what's underneath the clouds. So civilization is the effort of mankind, okay? It's all of us and our doings. It is the collective effort of all that we were and could be. All that we are now. So a civilization right now, if we take right now, and the way I kind of spoke about it, I have a designer's mind, so the way I at least made it comprehensible to myself, I was like, okay, so what's going on? We're on a rock in the middle of nowhere. There's 8 billion organisms, right? And what should these 8 billion organisms do? That's what I thought. And then I came to this conclusion that, okay, these 8 billion organisms, right, are right now have a certain energy level, and based on the energy level they have, they in some sense are the civilizations displayed. So I'm like, okay, so it's like, first of all, civilization. Okay, let me rewind here a little bit. So civilization is the activity of 8 billion human beings, right? So the question is, where is the energy for this activity coming from? The main energy is coming from food, okay, or inspiration or something. But in reality, it's as if you have to connect. So if my laptop has low battery and it's not connected to like a charger and I'm giving a live stream, it'll suddenly disconnect. So it's as if before we build the advanced, so first we find the builders of the advanced civilization, we wake them up. All right, you got work to do. The future generations have, expectations from you. And so you connect to the power source, which is as simple as saying, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. That means you're like, all right, so many forms in these 32 years of life have appeared to me, but I am tired. I seek truth alone. Just truth. Enough simulations dancing in front of me. And so that truth was my attention to which was beyond the world. And it's a might beyond me, to the point that when I pray, I also have fear, but it's a beautiful fear. It's like fear of, like you're an imperfect being in the presence of perfection. The greatest perfection, the original power. It's like you're a simulated being in the presence of the original, and you break down in front of that, and you understand why. Your ancestors bowed to the one and only truth. A God beyond worldly form. There is none, that can act that can moderate. It is the director. That means Islam is a system. As a Muslim, I'm saying this, that you go directly to the system admin. You worship no form and directly go to the system admin. And so that's the power source. So if you're a secular-minded individual, it would be pretty much you seeing life as this existential video game system, and then you being like, all right, the power that it's as if they say, if you want to give yourself something, you give yourself imaginable, and it's imperfect. So you have the capacity of giving yourself imaginable imperfection, but God, the creator of the created, has a capacity, a capability to give unimaginable perfection. What that means is you didn't get what you wanted, you got what was right for you, and it fit in all scenarios. So that's the importance of connecting to the system admin, the original power of the realm. So once you do that, then you, as you function in the simulation, you have faith in the original. So you don't fear anything in the simulation because it doesn't make sense, because who you should fear is the creator of the simulation that is moving the simulation, that is scaring you even. So directly, it's as if I am telling you, for a religious person, it's like a feeling, like it's equivalent. When I became religious, truly, it's equivalent to like when I was in grade 4, running in the hallways of this school, right? And there was a principal, and all the kids knew the principal was there, right? It's like this feeling that the species knows the original power that leads to the most advanced, and the most advanced created us. That means that it's like, we are created by the most advanced position of being. And some may ask, how is God uncaused? Because then it becomes an infinite regress fallacy philosophically. What that means is the only explanation is that the first domino was pushed by something that wasn't a domino. So the better days of mankind is an ability of a species. And think of it this way, you as a human being, in my earlier talks I explained it like this. You have a public existential server, and you have a private experientially existent server. So it's like the public objective physical server. We're all in the same physical world, public server, but we're all experiencing this world privately. So in your private server, you connect to the system admin, and you link up through faith, and then as you have that faith, you function in your outer server, in the public server. And as you function in the public server, the only difference between a being who has faith in the creator and that being who doesn't is that the person who has faith in the creator doesn't fear the novelty that takes place in the system. It's not about just you trusting yourself, you trusting others, you trusting the world. It requires you trusting that which is moving all through a decree that leads to the design of where we are. So we are in the presence of a great event. We are being watched by the greatness of being. And there's clues in Islam that are incredible. For example, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, all praise due to the Lord of the worlds. It means there's many worlds. Lord of the worlds, all private and public servers in existence and in one's experience. Experiential and existential servers. You see, humanity, as a member of our species, I cannot let the sacredness of the greatness of the effort of our species go to waste, and neither should you. You should honor the effort of the world that has come so far and has brought it. Human beings, to the children of the future generations, should have such compassion that they should just be born and be like, don't worry, Earth, I got you. Relax, everybody, I'm here. That should be the attitude of all the children that will be born in the future. So advanced. that we were worthy enough to truly show God how great we were, because we are designed by greatness. You understand? You're manufactured by greatness. But it's your choice to truly choose to see that you're not in an empty room. You're in a system that's alive beyond the conditional world of forms. That means even if Plato accessed the world of forms somehow, he would be like, yo man, there's more. There's more than we can see, because we're more than what sight convinces us of. We are in the presence of the might of an advanced event where how the birds move, the wind moves the leaves, and how human beings communicate. You don't understand. To enter a realm where you're a soul inside a divinely administered system, where everything in reality is like everything that's been coded knows the coder. It's remarkable. And so our advanced civilization, it's like an advanced civilization in the sight of God. That means if extraterrestrials land, will be like, God's superior to you. Start praying, for the original surpasses the simulation's ignorance. Glory be to God. May God, the one and only, original power, original truth, forgive our species and guide mankind towards its true greatness, with the realization that its greatness comes from God, so God will not be forgotten. The original power source will not be forgotten. Thank you for listening. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. And guys, the biggest clue to religion is the word all forgiving. Perhaps we're all preparing for a great return to the original me. The tears of the caused turned into the smile that was uncaused. That means the sorrow of the realm was just a phase. The greatness of being awaits. You are in the world now. Your performance for the advancement of all begins. Rise, mankind, rise in the sight of the one and only. Thank you for listening. Good night.